Hi, Sheila here. What came to mind today when I thought about sitting with you was having a moment to just speak about our intention when we sit. So in addition to creating a seat that's both alert and relaxed, the intention that we have for the practice is one of curiosity, one could say receptivity. So being willing and able to allow whatever shows up to be there without feeling distressed, without feeling disappointed, and on the other end, without liking it so much that we grasp after it. When we grasp after it, no matter how fast we run towards it, at some point we notice that it moves away from us, it changes, and then we've lost it. And therein lies some of our distress, chasing after things that are by nature impermanent. So these practices, both in theory and in those neural pathways that I keep mentioning, allow us to become familiar with what it feels like to kind of be grounded, to be stable in the face of whatever arises. It doesn't mean we don't have preferences, that we don't prefer one thing over another. This has to do with balance and quality and quantity of that chasing after. So keep that in mind. Today we'll practice with awareness of the body and kind of have an idea of being receptive to what shows up. So allow your eyes to lower or close, and allow a full deep breath to help you become settled into this moment and this seat that you are creating for yourself. Having a sense of the breath moving throughout the torso, from the belly, perhaps up towards the shoulders. Remembering that the breath also moves us from front to back and side to side. And usually it's when we pay close attention that we can become aware that that's how the breath moves the body. And of course, the deeper and wider the breath, the more we feel that sensation, the more likely our awareness is to land there. So these initial full breaths are really helpful to ground us in the body and also to kind of unstick, kind of release whatever came before we took our seat together. It's not that thoughts really stop. It's that we create this different relationship with them. It's like we know they're going to be there, but they can be in another room, waiting. And what we deal with is what's happening right now as we sit, as the seat is creating itself with your direction. So you may find some length in the back of the neck, which of course will bring length to the sides and the front of the neck. It's helpful to drop the shoulders a bit. Think about reaching the crown of the head in the direction of the ceiling. And noticing any expression in the face that you can release. Maybe separate the lips, relax the tongue in the mouth. Just a general sense of letting go. So we want to use wiseful energy, wise energy, just enough to keep us upright and alert without anything extra. The extra is usually experienced as some kind of tension. Purposefully noticing the points of contact with your chair, with your cushion or bench. There's a point where your body meets that support. This is a moment just to notice what sensations might lie there. And then maybe we include the backs of the legs and the soles of the feet, if they're touching the floor, or if your legs are curled beneath you, then the base, the outer legs, the knees. We recognize this as a stable part of our sitting posture. The point from which we rise up, and also around which we can relax and release things that don't need to be held right now. And it's good to notice where the hands have come to rest today. Maybe they offer a point of contact with each other or with the tops of your thighs. So these explorations are an opening kind of a sense door. We're opening to what is present rather than looking for something particular. So no agenda, just a curiosity. What does that feel like right now? Where in this very everyday posture of sitting might we notice things when we allow our awareness, when we focus our attention purposefully in different areas? Maybe we notice where the arms, the inner sides of our arms touch the torso, the sides of our body come in contact with our arms, perhaps. And mixed into the noticing may be thoughts, either about the practice or about things you need to do. Sometimes we notice the quality of those thoughts, that they stir emotions because they're thoughts about things we don't like or we don't understand. And in this practice, we just release. We notice there are thoughts. We don't chase their content, and we also don't really chase them away. We have a sense of allowing them to be there without us. Without the fuel that our mind can often supply to thoughts that keep them going. So we can redirect that supply of energy back into the sensation of sitting, the weight of our body that in some way provides a lightness, because it allows us to let go into that support. Maybe you'll have a moment of noticing the space between your fingers, however your hands have come to rest. You can actually notice each finger exists on its own and has some space between and around. So we notice that the things we notice don't need to be grand in size. The value and the practice is in noticing subtle changes, or just noticing that sometimes it stays the same, and in that our mind is a little bored, a little impatient with all the sameness, so it reaches back in for some more thoughts that might be more interesting. But that's an interesting and good awareness to have about what is going on without a need to change that. Take a couple of fuller, deeper breaths as we prepare to release this meditation, and allow yourself the enjoyment that comes with the sound of the singing bowl. And so the eyes open slowly because there's no rush. Just taking another deep breath, maybe looking around, maybe noticing how it feels inside. These little details are always there. They go unnoticed because we're busy doing things, or our mind is busy doing something. And sometimes our mind isn't even busy doing what the body is doing. It's often somewhere else. And I say it with a smile because it's just interesting and curious to notice. Don't make it mean anything other than we have busy minds. And what we learn through practice is that when we can remove ourselves a little bit from that busyness, we do find some deep rest on a cellular level. And as I've been saying, our brains learn that there's another way to be with thoughts, and it's skillful and helpful and wholesome. So I always hope that you guys are practicing on your own, whether you sit for 2 minutes or 12 minutes or 20 minutes, with or without someone's voice guiding you. You all, I think, have a basic understanding of anchors, of breath, sensation, and sound, to begin to follow your mind and see where it goes. And then if you have questions, I'm always happy to talk about that. So be well, and I'll probably see you next week.